Hello, hello. Welcome to Healthy Perspectives, a podcast that takes on current, cultural, and social issues through a clinical lens. Hello, hello. All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we appreciate your time. And I'm going to start with there are two ways to learn: personal experience, others' experience. And so today's tip of the day is going to be hear with your ears, your eyes, and your mind. Okay, I just gave you a ton of information super fast. If we're talking about learning, we have to be taking in information in a way that's useful. Hearing with your ears, your eyes, and your mind is how you create useful information. I'll give you an example. If you only hear, you're going to miss a lot of information. If you only see, you're going to miss a lot of information. The thing that's going to make you miss the most information of all is not engaging your mind. So we want to address that. Look, I want to deal with the psychological, sociological, and cultural impacts of your learning, my learning, our learning as a culture, in our social groupings, and for you personally, psychologically. And so the tip of the day, hear with your ears, eyes, and mind, are all critical components, with the greatest of them being the mind. The mind. You can be blind, and if you engage your mind, you're going to have a greater understanding of many things than, say, somebody who can see just fine. You can be deaf and have a better understanding than those who can hear just fine, or see just fine, hear, you know what I mean. So I want you to engage your mind. And the two ways we can do that is through personal experience, which is probably the most effective as we look at it over the long term. But it's not always the best option. The reason this came to me this weekend was because I was encountering this situation where I got to thinking about personal experience. You know, when I was young in the 80s, the early 80s, we got the free cheese from the government. And I was thinking, as poor as we were, we got a lot of things given to us because of where we are. And I started to manifest that thought into, what about this current generation? What about people who are between the ages of, say, 10 and 25? What kinds of struggles are they dealing with? They're dealing with gender. They're dealing with politics. They're dealing with what? Hunger? I mean, there are kids out there that are hungry. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of personal experience. Then I happened to come across, I didn't look for this young kid. I think he's probably 18, 19, Harry something or another. And this dude is saying just really naive, foolish things on social media. Trying to tell, the clip that I saw was him trying to tell military folks, I happened to have been in the Marine Corps for 6 years, military folks, that what they should and should not be upset with. And I got to thinking, this kid has no clue. He has no clue. He has no personal experience, and he is not learning from others' experience. He's just making crap up. And I got to thinking, that's a bad combination. That's a really bad combination, because in a time when getting your voice out into the world is so readily accessible. Look at me. I'm an older guy now. I know it's kind of weird, but I am. And when we look at, things like this, what I'm doing right here, podcasting, I am probably one of the older people doing this. And I'm not the oldest. I know there are others. I'm definitely one of the only, like, not only, but one of the older people who produces and creates my own content without hiring somebody to do this stuff for me. Now, again, I'm not saying that that's a great thing, but the younger generation has this mode down. They can take their voice and they can amplify it. They can pull out their microphone, their social media microphone, and they can scream out into the world all kinds of absurdities. And unfortunately, people are listening, which means what's starting to disappear? Personal experience and others' experience. We're busy projecting our opinions, our assertions, as if we know crap. Which is why here at Healthy Perspectives, one of the things I try really hard to do is to stay on topic. On topic means clinical. That's psychological, sociological, cultural. I try not to dive too deeply into the weeds, per se, of any one specific topic. Because if I do that, then I need to be an expert in that area, or I'm just giving you an opinion. Now, opinions are fine. There's nothing inherently problematic with you having an opinion. Where it becomes problematic is when you amplify a stupid opinion. I know I used a very aggressive word there. And are there stupid opinions? Yes, there are. If you have never served in the military and you're trying to tell the military folks what they should and should not be fans of about the military, probably out over your skis at that point. Probably not the wisest move you could make. Now, if you've had experiences with lots of folks in the military, even though you haven't been in the military, could there be a substitute of content? Yes. One way, folks. Others' experience. You have to be able to lean onto others' experience if you're going to be doing that. And this Harry guy, he's not doing that. He's just trying to get clicks, probably. Maybe he has a formulated opinion of some sort other than getting clicks, but it sure doesn't seem like it. So what we have to do, what you and I have got to do if we want to engage our mind, is lean into experience of our own and of others. Filter those through our ears, our eyes, and our mind before we ever open our mouth. Sounds pretty simple, right? Try it. Try it. Next time you get that angry buffoon that is on social media that's attacking you for something that you're like, this is just dumb. Filter it. Filter it through your ears or your eyes. You can resonate the sounds in your mind and create. By the way, we do this all the time. We create a voice for the written word. We create context for the written word. And where there is no clear context, we fill it in. You do it, I do it. It's very easy to do. But if you slow down and you engage your mind, That would be your morals. That would be your thinking processes, the psychology of it, your emotional experience. If you engage these things, your response, I guarantee, will be very different than your initial reaction. Very different. So the tip of the day is hear with your ears, your eyes, and your mind. Where in there does it say to talk? I know you're listening right now to me, and I appreciate that. I have, in order to be responsible with my podcast, I have to have first learned from experience of my own or of trusted others. When I teach you a psychological concept, some of it at this point in my career, because I've been doing this a long time, a lot of it comes from personal experience in the profession, as a professional. Early on, I leaned way more heavily on others' experience, professors, peers, consult. That's what they say. So from my vantage point, what's going to happen if we don't get really good at this is we are going to lose the experience. It's going to disappear. And we're going to have an entire generation. This is going to sound probably fear-inducing, but that's not its intent. It's reality projection. I want to project how this would flow in a culture. What this would do is, over time, as personal and other experience gets negated. In other words, we have naivete being broadly adopted as acceptable because you have a voice and you could use it, which is true. You do have a voice and you could use it. But if we broadly accept that with no experience and no real defense of subject matter, what we will end up with is an entire generation who thinks they have no real responsibility for their words and their actions. The inevitable ending of that, folks, go ahead. You can do your historical review. The inevitable ending of that is one thing. If an entire generation lacks experience, personal and others, and they're just making crap up as they go, what will inevitably happen is the need for correction will rise to the point that they will eventually have no other option but to learn it from experience. Let's go back to the military thing I was telling you about, that guy Harry that was commenting to those who had been in the service. Most of you who would ever listen to this have not served in the military. That's a reality. And if you haven't, it doesn't mean you're less than, or I'm better than, or you're better than, or I'm less than. It's just a matter of fact. It's a truth. Well, it would be the truth. Here's the issue. If you don't know what you're talking about in terms of military experience, but we get an entire generation that projects, they think they know what they're talking about when it comes to military experience. It's only a matter of time before we end up with a commander-in-chief who has no idea what he's doing with his military, but pretends that he does or she does. And what will happen in that moment, in that situation, is we will encounter a war. It's an inevitable ending to being naive. See, everybody in the military knows that the military, even though they are the first one to say, let's do it. If we got to do it, let's do it, because it's an all in the moment you say go. Everyone I know, at least in the military, knows that the military ought to be a last resort. But that experience is disappearing. Not just in the military, but in all facets of life, education, economics. Like there's so much naivete being built on the backs of people who think they know what they're talking about. They think they know what they're talking about, but they don't know jack squat. It's very odd. There's, I'll give you another example of people who just don't know what they're talking about. It's these brothers that are the Krasensteins or Krasensteins. I don't know how to pronounce their name, but clueless. They have built their little empire on the backs of other people who know stuff. But they don't know jack squat. So they have a tendency to say some really dumb things. It's not because maybe they are bad people. Maybe they're evil and they just want evil things to happen. But they get a lot of followers. And the truth is, they're really naive people. I don't know what they've done in their personal life, but I can just about guarantee you they have not done a whole ton. Maybe they're marketers. Marketers are great at knowing nothing and knowing everything all at the same time. They know how to grab the bullhorn, make a loud voice, a loud noise, and get people to say, ooh, let's pay attention to that, which is a great skill. Sometimes I wish I had more of it, because honestly, my podcast would probably be better in terms of getting out there where people could get the real help. But no, I have to depend on you still. I depend on you to share this with others, because that isn't one of my talents. Could I pay somebody to do it? I mean, if I wanted to, probably could. But I care more about speaking the truth and letting you decide what to do with it. To me, that's the win. Because if you engage your mind and you think it's helpful and you forward it on, then we've actually created real change, not just propaganda. I hope this all made sense. The two ways to learn: personal experience or others' experience. And then as far as the tip of the day goes, hear with your ears, eyes, and mind, with the number one most important piece of that being your mind. Engage your mind in the process. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for following, liking, subscribing, all of those things that you do so that we can keep giving this to folks and helping others out. If you want to, please send us an email. We are looking for questions for Jeremiah still. They're coming soon, but I definitely would love to have some more to pick from. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. We appreciate our audience a lot, so we give you some simple ways to track us down. Please like, subscribe, and follow all the podcasts on different platforms, but you can also email us at healthyperspectives@protonmail.com, or you can check out our website at healthy-perspectives.com/podcast. It's a backward slash. So if you want to go to our landing page, if you go to healthy-perspectives.com, you'll still find us. You just got to click on the podcast button. Thank you so much.